32 a.m. I want you to look at the top. You're looking at the Ontario Museum of History and Arts at my location where I am on June 16, 2022. The entity is maintaining a light source in this position. And it's remaining over me at, currently it's 7:32 in the morning, like I stated, and I'm showing you where I'm located on this day, where I'm staying at 7:10 in the morning, and I remain at this location where I woke up at the museum. I'm also speaking to my presence and the maintenance of the light source as I'm on foot walking, and the people of the state are keeping me under surveillance as I go anywhere, as I walk, as I get on public transportation. And this is where I'm nowhere near Los Angeles at this time of year in 2022. So it's June 16, 2024. It's currently 7:33, like I stated. And on this day, this is the same day where the entity engaged in a kidnapping on June 16th. And as you have seen yesterday, as you saw the maintenance of a light source, that is 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1. 6 hours from now, that which is outside of my living room window right now and not over the Ontario Museum of History and Arts in its zenith, in other words, in perfect alignment with me, all right, to be in its zenith at the middle of the day, wherever it is that I'm located, for the light source to be in its zenith over the top of my head and in alignment with me at the end of the day, which is not the sun. Okay, I am not the center of the universe. I am only the center of the universe amongst the demon possessed who are obsessively group stalking me. And that is shown through the unnatural environment. Similarly, what you see within the pattern of conduct, which is the same criminal system that I remain subject to today in 2024, which is why I'm able to use the documentation that is already gathered serving for the prosecution of the people of the state, going by the name of Speaker Companies Incorporated, going by the names of all the group stalkers that are currently on the payroll of that third-party company who are going to federal prison. Literally, while you're looking at the light source over me at the same property, and you're looking at the third parties such as Carlo Lopez, who's group stalking on this property after 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and the light source is still over me while he's crossing path, engaging in terrorism while the entity flies over by helicopter. This is all manner of lawlessness and terrorism that's occurring in the workplace. He's going directly to federal prison. Okay, and now that's called being surrounded with the evidence, the malice with which you seek to terrorize and torment another individual for no legitimate purpose other than the fact that you serve Satan. And you're going to pay real prices in the natural for that criminal activity with a corrupt government. This is speaking to at 7:10 in the morning. There's no sun that's jumping from being over the top of the Ontario Museum of History and Arts, where it remained every day that I woke up, by the way. And it remained over me for the duration of the day, wherever it is that I traveled. And it did not include Los Angeles in any location outside of the apartment of Alvarado Gardens, where you see now, where you are already aware that the entity maintains this light source, which is how I'm able to capture it over my head as I stay at the same property, meaning when I go outside of my front door right here, and it's still over the top of my head, which is what you saw at 1:32 in the afternoon. Let's count that hour. Let me see, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yes, 6 hours from now, this which is not the sun, this which is not in this location that you see above, which is the Ontario Museum of History and Arts at 225 South Euclid Avenue in Ontario, California. This which you see outside of my living room, which is under no circumstances at the same time still in any position to be seen over the Ontario Museum of History and Arts, which is how you are capable of understanding and realizing what the specific environment looks like and what the natural environment is not capable of. The sun is not maintaining ubiquitous presence in its central placement in perfect alignment with wherever you're at, in alignment to your face, rising over everyone, everywhere, no matter where you're located. That's not the sun. This is speaking to a specific environment, and this evidence of this unnatural environment is evidence against the entire population who you have witnessed group stalking with the state, who flew in a helicopter for 47 minutes right here at the same location where the fake sun is rising, in alignment to my location, which is my apartment, where you're looking at what is not even sunlight on the inside of the apartment. This isn't even sunlight. This is engineered light that you, again, have not forgotten. It's present all over my apartment walls and all over the ceilings all day long, while the entity is providing a wealth of evidence against the people of the state. And this is, again, on June 16, 2024. What you're also mindful of, and what I'm going to make sure that I take care to document, is what you are already aware of. There's no sun that's going to be over at 9:42 in the morning over the Ovid Family Community Library at 9:42 in the morning. just like you see here. It's right, and it's, it's rising to be in its zenith over my head. So this is what the entity is doing. This is what I pointed out. This is how you have the light source over me at the same address, the same location at the same address, at the entrance of the Ovid Family Community, the Ovid Family Community Library, but I'm speaking specifically with regard to my location at the Alvarado Gardens Apartments. The entity, this is how you have it over the top of my head at 9:36 in the morning and in my face, like you see here. This is in my face. But while I am standing at 9:36, the entity is just engaging in what is keeping this light source, and it rises to be at the top of my head all day long, and then it's rising to be in alignment with my face. This is, and by that location, it's outside of my bedroom window in the evening, remaining at the same location, because all the entity is doing, I'm going to treat this word photo you can see on the screen like that's me. The entity is keeping the fake sun is rising. This is it rising on this side. This is the presence of the fake sun all day long directly over me. And this is the presence of the fake sun in the evening. And this is on the opposite side of me. And this is, I am representing the word photo right here. That you see right here. And this is whether I remain right here at the same living room window all day long, as you've seen inside of the same apartment, or whether I travel from here to the Vons on Alvarado Street and back, whether I go to the car wash off of Glendale, like you saw in the evening, and that's how you captured Clifford Street at 9:36. The light source is over my head while I'm on that street at 9:36 in the morning, and also in front of my face as I'm on that same Clifford Street after 6 o'clock in the evening. None of that is the natural environment, because the entity is doing exactly like I'm telling you. The light source, which is not the sun, remains directly over me, and that is the direct evidence of who is the focus of a corrupt government. That's group stalking, and group stalking is entirely demonic. This is a government that's engaging in what is terrorizing an American citizen, and this is unfortunately what is the condition of the population in California that is unfortunately serving Satan, and it manifests itself through what is public corruption. You have what is the light source that's on this side rising the sun, which is what you're looking at here, and then the entity is engaging in what is rising the sun, keeping the sun over me all day long, and then setting that sun on the opposite side of my person. That's literally what you're witnessing while it's inside of my apartment. And the entity's light source remains until the end of the day, which is what I captured yesterday, where I'm looking at 6:41 p.m., which is outside of my bedroom window here. Let me be clear. There is no sun that's at any point in the day going to be over the Ovid Family Community Library in this manner, in this position. For anyone to capture it, that's not the sun that would be over that address, that's the light source, okay? The natural environment is not going to and not possibly consist of such a grand departure from what's supposedly the natural environment, and we're down to even the same day and time. You know that all day long, the entity is not going anywhere, and this is identification of the entity. The entity is in the environment where the light source and the engineer light is. It's not the natural environment. Nobody's doing anything other than group stalking. And that's the reality of what is terrorizing about a whole population. And there are a bunch of demons that don't want you to know that they're obsessed and psychotic, because all they're doing is about what you're doing as you're doing it. And they engage in more of that psychotic conduct the more you speak to the truth about what's wrong with them and what the consequences that they're going to suffer for what they're doing. And I'm referencing the demon possessed. Okay, so this is where the entity is stalking in helicopters. This is where the entity is engaging in what is obstruction of justice, seeking to silence the fact that it's demons that are group stalking you, and those demons happen to be in the government, utilizing, acting in concert, with the people of the state that live in that community. And this is the ability to walk through a whole parking lot at the train station in LA and document every single last license plate, because they're all group stalking you. Get that whole population, because that whole population is maintaining presence, and they're doing so with knowledge. Okay, while one demon is at work, the other demons are maintaining presence together. These two are the ones that are going to federal prison, okay? And her mother, they're both going to federal prison, and they know exactly what I'm stating. They're engaging in light activity creation and crossing path, and this is also documented as what is impunity. Let me be clear, can't even speak English in this country, engaging in terrorizing another American citizen, failing at being a distraction. You're looking at what is malice. This same demon is one monitoring with the LAPD that's terrorizing in a helicopter, and then you'll see this demon observing the bushes that she's watering right now. That's the elements of monitoring. There's nothing innocent or compassionate about that. It's entirely malicious. And Satan will use any and every person, by the way. It doesn't matter what language they speak. It doesn't matter what physical handicap they claim. It doesn't matter what sort of mental state they want to assert. It is no preclusion to what is engaging in the demonic elements of monitoring. Anybody suffering from stammering or stuttering or some speech impediment is still fully capable of engaging in what is light activity creation. It has nothing to do with their demonic ability to engage in stalking with audible activity creation. It has nothing to do with their criminal presence in the path in concert with that state in the specific environment. And that's what you will always recognize control, which is the unnatural environment. You're not going to forget, regardless of what that entity is speaking of and talking about, a legally irrelevant claim, in other words, while you're looking at that which is not possibly the sun remaining over the specific environment. It is the P.O.C. And this is documentation of who's going to federal prison. The entity who represents Me Lim, who's watering her bushes right now. She's the entity that engaged in kidnapping, as I documented on this day in 2022. And she, representing the entity, she's going to be promptly deported after her aged self is going to federal prison. Okay? She's going to sit in federal prison for engaging and enabling a government to keep an American citizen under surveillance. And there is nothing that you will claim that is any exception to that. This is showing you and also pointing to what is absolutely irrelevant about the preconceived notions that many have, that you have been conditioned to have, by the way, about who's a criminal, who's a good person, who's a bad person, who's capable of engaging in what is good and bad and unthinkable. All of that is irrelevant. None of it has anything to do with your socioeconomic status or your race or your background. You make decisions every single day. Those that come from supposedly religious backgrounds, so those who call themselves Christians, okay, those who call themselves believers, and yet they're serving Satan. Their criminal conduct is surrounded by the P.O.C. It does not matter what you claim. Clearly, okay, you don't know them by what they assert about themselves. You know them by what they do, by the fruits they bear. Okay, and when you're engaging in the elements of monitoring, you're going to be prosecuted like every other demon-possessed group stalker, whether you want to claim that you're a Christian or not. The truth of that is defied, okay? You are defying the truth by virtue of engaging in the P.O.C. because no group stalker serves Christ. You are literally, by definition, and it is proven, that you serve Satan, whether you are aware of it or not. But that's no legal argument because you know exactly what you're doing when you're engaging in the elements of monitoring. It's of your own volition while you serve Satan. Perhaps it's providing you the inability to deny that you are separated from Christ. That's all. But there is no denying your criminal conduct, and it's not legally relevant when you want to claim that you're some sort of believer in Christ. It's actually the proof that you are not. You do not belong to the Lord Jesus while you are serving Satan in this manner, terrorizing an innocent American citizen, and you are knowingly and intentionally doing so as you engage in the elements of monitoring in concert with a corrupt government that likes to use helicopters in the state of California. Let me be clear, the people of the state derive pleasure, which is evidence of your demented mind state, by the way, and the darkness that you're walking in, contrary to what you would like to claim amongst everyone else whose secret you don't want to know, that you serve Satan, okay, with devotion, that you're engaging in federal group stalking and monitoring. So I want to be clear, there's no sun that's going to be over the Ovid Family Community Library. And you're looking at what is malice while Me Lim is watering her plants with her daughter, and doing so with knowledge of the fact that I'm in operation of a camera on the third floor right above them. They're going to federal prison, as I've also documented them doing the exact same thing. Those demons walking to the dumpster, which is called crossing a path, while the entity was stalking in a red helicopter. And this is hours later, where the sun would never be still present after 1 o'clock in the afternoon, because that's exactly what I documented about those demons. And they are captured in pictures in doing so in the specific environment. Okay, so you're relevant to the only thing about their culture that's relevant to their prosecution as they represent the people of the state is the fact that the mother, Me Lim, is likely not a natural born citizen, so she's going to be deported right back to wherever she's from. That's the only thing that's relevant about her culture. Because your race, your culture, your language is legally irrelevant. It is in no way an impediment to engaging in the P.O.C. Nor is it reasonable to contend so when I'm showing you the ways in which the government is engaging in what is the pattern of conduct. And this is how you have, this is the significance of a light source that's not possibly the sun that's remaining over me. And you already know that it's remaining right here. I captured it on video as I literally stood here for the last 2 days, showing you the maintenance of the light source that remains outside of my front door, over my head, in its zenith, right above my head at 1:32 in the afternoon. The light source at 9:42 is going to be right here. Everybody that engaged in a documented act of what is kidnapping is going to federal prison, and they're captured on video. 10:29 in the morning, There's no sun over the Rancho Cucamonga Superior Court either, which I also went to the extent to document for purposes of Lisa Rogan, who's going to federal prison. Because you know exactly where the light source, which is not the sun, is over me, and it's not over that courthouse, contrary to what I documented same time of year on June 23rd, 2022. That's the environment where the entity is engaged in the criminal pattern of conduct. And let's not forget what was documented about the demons of the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department. Because between 9:42 and 10:29 a.m., I've also documented at 9:03 in the morning where there's no sun bouncing all around to be in its zenith over all three venues in the manner in which I've documented. Those are demons of the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department in Pomona, California, where I'm coming from, Ontario. Okay, the Ontario Museum of History and Arts, and that light source is remaining over me. This is speaking to what is the prosecution of a government that's engaging in what is a matter of public corruption, including the people of the state, such as Me Lim, woefully to her own demise. Okay, woe to her, because she's going to meet not only judgment if she does not repent in eternity. You're talking about judgment here in the natural, because she's going to be prosecuted for the terrorist that she is. And where you would mistake that malicious third party as a sweet old lady who's watering her plants, she's group stalking and engineered light. And let me be clear, that's exactly the high level of deception that Satan utilizes to target American citizens in this country. That's exactly what it looks like. That's exactly the form that it takes. While I'm inside of my apartment and you're looking at all manner of demonic terrorism inside of my apartment, you're going to remember this aged third party that's living downstairs thinking she could water her garden and nobody is going to suspect anything else. And that is just ignorance, because that is not the case under any circumstances. What I'm documenting inside of this apartment is directly relevant to the prosecution that Me Lim and her daughter showing impunity right now, coming into the path so I can see them group stalking me. That's directly relevant to the prosecution and the punishment that they're going to face. Okay? This is a light source that's remaining outside of my window at 9:42 in the morning today. It's not going to be over 215 East C Street at the Ovid Family Community Library. Where it's remaining at what is 9:42, it's going to be directly over the top of my head as I document on video at 10:29, cataloging a long drawn out documentation of what is, this is the same entity, the same terrorist organization that's stalking by helicopter day and night, just like the LAPD. All right, so I just want demons, group stalking in helicopter, then arriving with Me Lim. Okay, and what do I mean by Me Lim? Because Me Lim personally was not at the library. Me Lim is the people of the state. Me Lim was documented. Group stalking with the same terrorist organization, the Ontario Police Department, the state of California, in the specific environment, the same specific environment that's here in LA, not the natural environment, engaging in what is literally manufacturing information. Just like speaker companies representing the people of the state, accusing you of violating their quiet enjoyment, while day and night they are violating mine, because these demons that cannot create an original thought, literally copying off of the target individual, I'm going to prosecute you for being so annoying while you're engaging in terrorism, so pathetic while you're engaging in terrorism, literally copying off of the notion of violation of quiet enjoyment while you are stalking in helicopters in concert with that state in a specific environment where no sunlight is ever going to appear on my ceilings and in the depths of my hallway, crawling all along my carpet and on the bedroom walls, while the entity is engaging in psychotic stalking in helicopters just like the Ontario PD, in concert with the entity representing the people of the state, such as Me Lim, who are going to federal prison for engaging in kidnapping on this day, where there's no sun that's going to be over the Ovid Family Community Library, like I'm documenting on this day. Okay, I've already shown this. This is exactly what is the light source, and not the sun that's over the roof of the Ontario Ovid Family Community Library. It's not going to be over 215 East C Street like you see it over my head. Where's it going to be? You already know. It's going to be right here outside of this living room window, as I already captured on video, literally as I went through a lengthy discussion starting from, I believe, what was 8:50 in the morning until after 10 o'clock in the morning. I literally pointed out 10:29 in the morning, and I used the Rancho Cucamonga Superior Court. But I'm going to, for purposes of what is an unmistakable and very specific punishment for these demons of the OPD, it's a terrorist organization. They're all going to federal prison. All of them, and they're all going to be published as terrorists that they are, having nothing to do with law enforcement. And you're going to witness the same treatment of the chief of police. You're going to witness the same treatment of the terrorists that are the LAPD and the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department, engaging in this criminal system that Me Lim enables a government to do so, which is the role of the people of the state who engage in kidnapping and threatening and terrorism as one, demon possessed all together. Okay, and many of whom want to claim that they are so-called believers in the Lord Jesus Christ, and it's nothing but audible activity. They lie. Okay, Satan is a liar, and you know him not by what he says and what he claims and where they congregate every week. It's by what they do. That's what, and by the way, that's also how you prosecute, by what they do. It is currently 7:52 in the morning. This is the light source that's remaining in the same position at 9:42 and at 10:29 in the morning, where this same entity that I'm documenting in LA engaged in kidnapping, and this entity seeks to obstruct justice, threatening employment, while the third party company is the people of the state group stalking with that state. All the levels of malice are directly relevant, while the federal judge that's going to give me justice, and it's going to be meting out justice, handing out sentences in federal prison, which demons are going to serve in a cage. Okay, I want to be clear. This is what you're mindful of. This is what you're witnessing, because it is impossible that the sun would be in this same position. And this is at 10:29 in the morning, and it's going to stay right here outside of my living room window until the evening after 6 p.m., which is already evidence as a matter of already captured as a matter of evidence amongst what is stalking with engineered light, while the entity knows that I'm physically nude, physically indisposed, sounding helicopter activity while keeping me surrounded with engineered light all over my walls and ceilings, and then a demon steps outside watering their gardens as though it's anything other than the elements of monitoring. Okay, now those terrorists that aren't even naturally born citizens, they're going to be promptly shipped out of here. Okay, that's one way to easily deal with the immigration issue. Crossing path, that's you, Kim. He can't get enough, and he's going to go right back to where he's from. Group stalking all day long amongst the others in his place of origin, wherever that is. He's going right back there. It is currently, again, 7:53 a.m., and it is Sunday, June 16th, 2024. This is the ongoing pattern of conduct where the entity is using the people of the state to engage in what is federal group stalking and monitoring. Federal group stalking and monitoring is group stalking, and group stalking is occurring in a very specific environment, an unnatural environment, and you are then aware of what is entirely unnatural behavior. It's not watering plants, and it's not walking to the dumpster and exercising and walking back. It's actually demons. These are psychopaths. That's the affect of demon possession on a human being, by the way. They exhibit an unhealthy, unfathomable level of malice while they are actually targeting someone else under the condition of having demonic spirits on them, and they act as a population together. In other words, the demon that's operating the Amazon Prime vehicle that's at a distance at what is Avalon, not even talking to, not even in the natural friends with, okay, or communicating with. These are demons that are acting in accord, however, and you know that not only through the unnatural environment that targets me, but also through their concerted conduct in concert with the demons that stalk in planes and helicopters. You will understand and recognize the pattern. All these demon-possessed people are acting in one accord. They're acting in sync. That's how you're witnessing the demonic activity. And it is a criminal system. It is the ability, in other words, to criminalize what Satan is doing amongst the corrupt government in concert with the constituents of the state, and it is the federal prosecution for what is group stalking. It is currently, again, 7:54 a.m. This is going toward what is the term in federal prison for the people of the state and the state acting. This is relevant to what Dominic Choi is getting. This is relevant to what speaker companies, the corporate office, speaker companies, the employees of SoCal engaged in federal stalking. It is the entire entity, in other words, as I've already stated. Lisa Rogan is being documented, and it's relevant for what she's going to serve. And the example that she is going to be, while the federal government punishes her for what will be under no circumstances tolerated in this country. All right, abusing your role while you sit on the bench, thinking that you will criminally defame or kidnap someone while you're sitting and abusing the criminal justice system because you want to serve Satan, because that's a demon, first of all. Lisa Rogan is demon possessed. She serves Satan, and she is abusing her position while she sits on a bench in a court, the Rancho Cucamonga Superior Court, where there is no sun over 8303 Haven Avenue, which is the address of that courthouse where I documented the light source, which is not outside of my living room window in Los Angeles at the same time. It's the specific environment where no sunlight is going to ricochet off of a car while it's driving by the building of the courthouse. That's engineered light. That's group stalking by the people of the state and or state actor whose license plate is recited, documented in that video, pursuant to the same documented pattern of conduct of all the population engaging in that same phenomenon where these demons drive engineered light, swipes all across asphalt and buildings. That's the admission by the people of the state who are group stalking. Crossing path at 1826 Lobdell Place. While I speak to the truth of what they do, this impunity is not going to be forgotten. You have a lot of people that are going to federal prison while Satan likes to act with lawlessness now and engage in what is admitting to the defeat that has occurred on the world scene. I want to be clear, these demons will be crying in federal court, and the federal judge who is listening to me now, listening to this evidence that I am accumulating now, no tears are going to move any federal court. There is nothing that's going to move because the entity acts with impunity to date and has shown an absolute disregard while the psychopaths are listening and monitoring documentation. It is the quintessence of something no less, something worthy of no less than a prolonged time in federal prison, because that's exactly what they are begging for. And that's exactly what they're going to get. As a matter of justice, it's 7:57 in the morning
on Sunday, June 16, 2024, which is, you're looking at the light source that's over me at the Ovid Family Community Library. At no point ever is the sun over the Ovid Family Community Library, which is speaking to the kidnapping that I was subject to while this entity that knows it's being documented, that engages in harassment and terrorism with directed light and with amplified audible activity, specifically in the method of helicopter, are still maintaining knowledge of the fact that they're being documented, and a whole lot of people are going to federal prison for it. It's P.O.C.